Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Cryptic Gaming. I hope you've been having a wonderful day. So, I want to go over some of the helm things for our newer players just coming into the game and our members who are asking some great questions. I figured it was best to put a video out to really show you exactly what it is that I'm referring to. So, question number one that was asked: can you bring up the helm map at any time in the game? Absolutely you can. When you bring up your map, you're going to tab over one time, and that's going to bring up the helm empire, and you're going to be able to follow any of your legendary heists. You're going to be able to find out what type of hostile takeovers, your solos, your PvPs, as they post up. Now, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, it does have a timer of when the next takeover opportunity resets. So every 15 minutes or so, you're going to refresh this map. Now, one of the things that you're going to want to understand here as you're looking to get into building your own helm, there are certain types of areas. Now, it's up to you how you want to do it. The way I did it is the first area I focused on was right outside St. Anne. It's an auto collection area. It means I don't have to assign ships to pick it up, and I don't have to pick it up myself once I have completed the territory. Okay, you have regions, which would be Africa, Red Isle, in India. Then you have territories, which are these areas here that are broken down into sections or segments. These are actual territories. When you complete a territory, meaning you own everything in it, you do get to have the territorial bonus. So the territorial effect of this one is an auto collection. The territorial effect of this next one is we reduce the cost of clan fair manufacturers by 5%, meaning when we fund them, it's 5% cheaper now. So there is also these trade routes between the territories. This is what these little dotted lines are. And you get percentages once it's an established route. Meaning, if, look at this one here, for instance, so there's 3 routes based off, coming off of here. So I would want to follow one of them over and say, okay, well, I need this territory, so I'd want to make sure I capture that one as well. And then you need these 2 over here, so we'd have to make sure we captured Jiwi over here, and then this other one here looks like it comes over here to Harufu. So that would be a completed set. Then it looks like there's a couple more comes down here and then over here as well. So that completes the set, the segments of those, and we get those territorial bonuses, which it looks like is 11% added onto our 8s. So it's definitely worth doing that. When you look over here on the left hand side, it shows an overview of what we're producing, pieces of 8 per hour. Silver per hour. We're looking at your territories, which there's 18 territories. We have 18 of 18. We have 76 of the 76 manufacturers. We have completed 81 of the 81 routes, and we have 22 of 32 ships assigned to picking up 8s. I have 32 ships built. Now, one of the questions that I was asked, because a lot of folks are picking up their 8s, they said, how do I send a ship? Well, first thing, you need to make sure that you're building ships. Now, as to what ship you're building, that is completely up to you. It was asked, does it have to be a large ship? Does it have to be, what level does it have to be? Well, the quickest and easiest way to determine that is your factory level. So it's going to be a little different the closer you are to your territory, but I'm going to give you some basic numbers here. So if you're running a level 5, but you're running a level 5 way over here, then you're going to need a 13 or higher. Now, 13 is probably going to be probably at a moderate risk. If you get down to, say, let's bring our ships up, a level 7 ship, then of course you're at an extreme risk of your ship being sunk before you get back with 8s. So you wouldn't want to set a level 7 way out there. And keep in mind, this is just a level 4. But it'll tell you, if you look at the ship assignment, it says recommended ship rank. Well, how do you get to those level 12 ships? And you could actually pick up every territory with a level 12, because you can only assign a ship once it's a level 2. Now, to get your territory, if you get it and it's a level 1, how do I get it to a level 2? You can click on it, and you can either upgrade with pieces of 8. I don't recommend that. It's going to cost you $3,000 to get that thing to a level 3. And it seemed like it was $1,500 or $2,000, I think is what they were charging for level 2s. Just do like I did, and the way I done it is just run your hostile takeovers. And whatever, say if I capture this one, it's level 1. Well, the next time that hostile takeover comes up, I run it again, it goes to a level 2, plus I get pieces of 8, plus I get a cash chest. And the next time it pops up, I jump in, it's then going to go to a 3, I'm going to get pieces of 8 again, and then it's going to continue to stack up until you get to 4s. Now, once you reach level 4, you can still run those hostile takeovers, and even run those legendary heists and get pieces of 8. So that's a great way to farm, because it's really easy to run these things. These hostile takeovers, especially the solos, there's nothing to them. Now, when you run those PvP takeovers, guys, understand that you could potentially get jumped. So it does happen. It's rare, but it does happen. As you can see, there are some territories that have a lot more routes than others. So there's a lot of folks, they try to focus on those. I mean, honestly, my opinion, just grab them as they come up. I mean, you want to capture all the territories. You want to have the entire map. The way this is, now I understand back in the day, you used to be able to just capture Red Isle, and you could be pulling in, 2,000 or 3,000 pieces a day, an hour. They have changed the Helm Empire from what it was in year 1. They don't pay out what they used to, and it costs a lot more to upgrade this stuff. Now, I got to show you the upgrades here. One of the things I do recommend, get what you can. You're going to be able to capture by 8. That's going to get you some pieces of 8 coming in. And then let's bring up our other map here real quick. You're going to want to be running Fangs of Nefara. You're going to want to run From the Deep. You're going to want to run a Show of Strength. And then there's another one, a Treacherous Turn, that pops up here. For some reason it shows up, some reason it doesn't, but it'll locate up in this area right here is where it spawns in. And run those 4, and you can just keep running them. After you run it, it takes 3 minutes for it to reset. So jump from Nefara, jump up here to Hunter Hunted. If you don't see a Treacherous Turn up here, just jump straight over here to the Show of Strength. And each time you run this, you're going to get about 130 to 200 pieces of 8. Plus, you're going to get Cooper bars and things like that. And just jump straight back over here to Fangs of Fur. And you can run these out, this little trend out here, and 4 or 5 minutes. And like I said, you're going to be picking up, depending if you get that 4th Treacherous Turn to show up, you're going to be able to grind out about, we ran a test on it. And for us, just running it the way we was running it, we were able to pull in about 4,000 pieces of 8 every 15 minutes, just running through that thing. Now, how long does it take you to run Megafort Houston in Tier 1? About the same amount of time. They've done a lot of boosting to it. On Tier 2, one of the problems that we have been noticing when we come into it, and we're hoping they get it fixed, is when you get to the second chest after you've farmed it a few times. When I say farming, it means we're just hitting Megafort Houston and getting everything we can out of it. It seems the fort stops producing any more chests, meaning it'll hang up at a wall section. It'll be the very next chest, which should be taking out a lower section of the wall, and the wall never actually comes up to be destroyed. So what we've been doing is we've now pulled into Tier 1 and we farm Megafort Houston there, or we run these. If you're running solo, guys, and like I say, if you're not running a level 15 ship with some guys, I do recommend that you run these little mini bosses. These were the original territorial things. Now remember that a lot of these glory adorned fleets and different things like that, excuse me, they're going to give you pieces of 8 as well. So definitely be running a lot of those. If it's something that's easy enough for you to run it, because you're going to get 8s from it. Then you're going to want to come in here to the helm and upgrade this helm section of the tree here. I do recommend that you do this because it's going to make it so you can produce extra 8s. At the very least, you want to be able to come in and be able to access your order registry. You're going to want to be able to access your distillery by upgrading that. And once you get your distillery producing, you then come over here to order registry and you set up that you want to sell some of your materials. And remember that this territory also over in Talak Panjara has another one, it's laboratory. And you're going to be able to sell, queue up to sell these different materials. The Southern Basin, just right down here. At the Grand Felice, just to the east of Grand Felice is where the location is going to be. So make sure that you mark it in your map and you're going to travel out there. And while you're traveling, you're carrying these contracts. Do not, repeat, do not put the materials on your ship that you're going to be carrying over there. The reason you don't want to do that is because there's no need to. you're not going to sell them anything. What you're going to do, you're a pirate, you're not a merchantman. You're going to go over there and you're going to sink the liaison and you're going to take the pieces of 8 from them. Don't sell them anything, don't give them anything, just sink them, take the stuff, and then travel to the Grand Fillets and fast travel back to St. Anne so you can drop your 8s off. That's how you're going to want to do that. Now, if you're trying to figure out how you're going to get materials, the moment you do that, you're going to get what's known as a helm wanted level. All right, it's going to say marked for death. And what that is now you are going to be hunted by helm rogues. The entire time you are on the game, you have that marked for death for an hour, unless you truly tick them off like I do, which is every hour when this stuff respawns, I go in and I grab my supply deals that are roving, and I go sink those guys, and I take the materials, and then I bring them back to my factories and over here to my refinery. And I come in here to the distillery and I begin distilling my progress. I don't think I've got anything to make at the moment. We'll double check. Yeah, so we would then make our materials over here. And it starts producing this stuff. Now, I do take those gold skull, which is the maximum level of purity that you can make in this. Now, when you're over at the factory, they have a different type of color system, but it's the same thing. Your most refined version of it, you would sell the alcohol to Skurlock and the drugs you sell to Rema, and that's where you're going to get your silver. I get asked quite a bit, just about every video. Someone says, hey, how exactly did you get so much silver? What's the easy way of doing that? Well, there's no easy way of doing it, unfortunately, guys. So you just have to do like I just showed you. When you build those products up, you then sell it. You sell it over to Skurlock and you sell it to Rema, and that's going to give you your silver. And it takes a while to build your helm up, guys. It really does. So we've gone over some of the basics there. On the upgrades, once you start getting that done, the next question is, I don't have the ability to grab any more factories. As soon as I get my 8, it says I have maximum number of factories. Well, if you come down here to the Helm Empire south of it, the very first one that's going to ask to upgrade, now I don't recall what this one cost, it wasn't too expensive. It gives you the ability to have 8 more manufactories. Then you're going to come over and you only have to hit it once, but you can hit it all 3 times if you want to. It increases the profits for established trade routes by an additional 6% once you get all 3 done. And then, of course, this is going to allow you to do your corrosive growth, which is completing takeover opportunities, targeting owned manufacturers, upgrades to manufacture by 1 level all the way up to level 4, 5 being the max. Now, when year 2 first started off, for those who are just coming in, y'all missed a heck of a time. What this was doing is it kept resetting our pieces of 8, and it was very hard to build our kingdom. So y'all have come in at just the right time. They've got that leveled out and working now. So the Empire Administration here, this is going to give another 8. And then, of course, the next one, that's going to give another 8. And then you would bump this one up. As you can see, I didn't bring that all the way up. Efficient shipping, it reduces transportation time by 20%. I don't care how much it's going to reduce it. It's going to do another 40%. I don't care how long it takes to get to 8s. So I save my money. The next one says manufacturing fortification. I go to the things when they run a defense, and I don't have any problems blowing them up. So I'm not or sinking the enemy ships. I'm not going to bother bringing this up. That's up to you if you want to. I mean, you're looking at 6,000 pieces 8 for the next level, so it'll probably then be another 8,000 for level 3. What I did is I bumped them once each time that I came to Empire Administration and finished it off. And then you're going to come down and take over the trade dominance. Then you're going to hit this territorial dominance. And then, of course, you're going to do Empire Administration here for 8. And then you have it again here for 8. Now, when you get to these lower tiers, this stuff starts to get expensive. So you may end up needing to break off and go over to your territorial arms, which is where you come in and you want to look for the little octopus icon with a plus next to it, which is going to be right here. This is going to give you an additional 3 manufactories. And again, if you come over here on this one here, like there would be right here, would give you an additional 3. And then you're going to find that on each and every one of these legs. So there, it gave you another 3. And once you've completed these little octopus things, like I say, that's the helm icon. But it's going to give you the Empire Administration, giving you that. You're going to be able to carry all 76 manufactories. Understand, it's not going to happen in one day. It's not even going to happen in a week. This is going to take some building up, guys. I've been working on this since well, really since the beginning of season two, or year two here of season one. And here we are. I believe we are. Oh, how far into the season are we now? I guess the quickest way to look is to bring up our smuggler pass and check it here. We got 33 days remaining, so we're 2 months in, and you see where I'm at. It's close, but it's not quite completed. Now, the trick on your ships when you have your auto pickups, guys, any kind of extra, if you're running convoys, you should be dropping Royal Custodians. You should be getting those. Any kind of armors that you're getting that you're not using and you're saying, dude, I don't really need that, don't get rid of it. Don't get rid of low-grade weapons either. The reason for that, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to build a ship and I want to show you something. So this is how you build a ship to pick up. And I could sit there and just tell you, but it looks like it's going to be easier to show you. So we're going to come up here. We're going to go craft new item. And, I want to be able to build a ship that's cheap, whatever kind of ship that we got here. So let's see. We got a sloop. We're looking. That's pretty cheap. Let's go ahead and let's build one of those. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to craft it. Then we're going to wait off the cutscene to finish there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and move all cargo to the new ship. So we are now in that new ship, and what we're going to do is we're going to enter the ship. We're going to manage our ship. And I want to build this level up because it's only level 4. So I need to get this thing up to at least a level 8 would be great, So what I want to do is I want to look for some weapons that I don't use anymore. Now, I don't have a lot of low level weapons simply because I've, been running through stuff in this game here. And I've got a lot of this stuff is already assigned on ships. But we would come in here, we would look for weapons that's not currently being used on ships. And that's a good. We'll use culverins on it real quick. So then we're going to come over. We're going to use these culverins that I've got set up. Now, I understand these are just some test weapons that we're throwing on. Unfortunately, I don't have any low-level weapons. But you're going to throw on whatever weapons you've got. We'll put that on here. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to build my armor. I'm going to throw some armor on there. Now, as far as what armor you use, that's totally up to you. It's whatever armor you have laying around. I've got, looks like we got some Royal Custodian here, so we'll go ahead and throw some of that on there real quick. And then if you got extra furnitures laying around that you don't need, say, well, I've got a lot of stuff I'm not going to use. I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to use, we'll just randomly pick some stuff here. But this is just, that you've got some extra stuff laying around that you're not planning to use. We throw it on there, well, we've bumped that level up quite a bit. Now, if we were using a medium ship, this would be a level 8 right now. But because we're using a small ship, it's only a level 6. So now you run the option of what you can do is you can go and you can upgrade this ship, which is probably still cheaper than running a medium ship. But it's going to be up to you. But adding those extra materials, now, of course, your higher gear scores are going to get you better ratings on your ships and things like that. So those are some things you do. Then you would take that ship. Now, if you're in your ship, you can't assign it to anything. So you're going to want to make sure that you leave and go back into, whatever ship you're currently wanting to use. And then we will bring up our map. And we're going to say, you know what? I want to pick up this territory here. And you would take your ship and pick that up. See, now this is a medium risk on this. I didn't bring it up high enough level. So we could upgrade it. I do recommend using a medium ship though. The Snow seems to be the cheapest one to build right now. So you would have a level 8 and you could pick up quite a bit of stuff. But we could potentially pick this up. So it's medium risk. We could go ahead and sign and send this out. But it tells you what recommended ship level you should be using. totally up to you if you listen or not. But that was level 4, and we was able to send a level 8. Now, if we come over here to this level 4, it's going to require or suggest a level 12 ship rather than a level 8 or a level 7. And the same thing, you know, the further away you get from your dock, the higher level it recommends. So like this would be a recommended of an 11. And of course we have, let's see if we got a 4 up here somewhere. So this would recommend at least a level 10. Let's see what this in here would recommend. So at least a level 13 would be recommended for Mega 4 Houston. Or I'm sorry, for Capital Houston to pick up. So like I say, just kind of follow it, follow your ranks there. And if you have multiple ships and you've got some 13s, understand you don't have to just leave a ship on it. What you can do is you can, after that ship picks up from the location, reassign it. Just send that same ship. It's got a timer when it's going to be done here. So you got 2 minutes, 54 seconds. Once it's done, you know, bringing the 8s in, you can reassign that ship somewhere else. You don't have to leave it assigned to that location. Now, what I do recommend is once you've gotten to a point where you're building these upgrade parts, leave a ship on it all times. Make a dedicated ship just for that location to pick those things up, because you don't want to fill your warehouse up and it be sitting idle. So like this one here, I just moved that ship over, by the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move another ship over there just so I've got something picking up. We're going to reassign the ship. And I want to make sure that I've got a ship located here picking up, because once the warehouse fills, all you're doing is you're burning through the amount of time that you've funded. When you fund, you're funding for 1 day and 23 hours, and I don't know, it's almost 2 days. It's not quite 2 days, but it's about an hour shy of 2 days. So we're just checking to make sure that we have a ship to pick up on each of those. And you want to make sure that you fund your base productions before you log out. Now, if you're looking over here, it's showing that I'm using silver and pieces of 8 to fund. That is because I am actually producing items here. So like this one here, I'm producing the Ascension modules. I'm producing some upgrade parts over here. We got Ascension modules upgrading over here. Then we've got some more upgrade parts, I believe, or maybe some Ascension modules. Yeah, upgrade parts over here as well. And that costs pieces of 8 to do. Now, you could do more than just that. You might want to come over here and say, you know what, I want to build planetary gear sets. Or maybe you want to build wood tar. Or, you know, there's just specialized items you can do. There's exotic materials that you can do. You can do plate glass, worm drive, sheet glass, screw mechanisms. You name it, you're going to be able to find a factory that's going to be able to build it. Now, you have to get those things upgraded. So one of the things I'd look at right here, I have black snuff. Now I have picked up that territory just recently when I did the auto collect. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to fund this for the highest production rate, which is down to silver snuff. And I want to come in and I want to check these out ever so often to make sure that I am on the highest production rate of stuff. But understand, before you switch that, you want to make sure that you collect that territory, because if you just come in and just say, you know what, I can make more on this one here, when I click that, I'm actually going to lose out on my pieces of 8 that it's built. So like currently there's 493 pieces of 8 there. Well, I want to collect that before I move this over to the others collection, because hey man, I can start making 6.93, but it actually will make it so my pieces of 8 are just wiped out across the board on that one. So make sure you pick up before you up those levels. So that's something I need to come back in here. I did that over in the Red Isle in Africa yesterday. I need to come back in and finish this area here. Been working on it slowly, but like I say, I don't like to have to pick things up manually anymore. The first year that we did that for almost 2 seasons, picking these things up manually. Did we finally got those ships? But that's how you build ships. And obviously you want to have higher level ships. Now, you may be looking, I don't have anywhere near as many ships as you have. Well, understand, I didn't get all these ships overnight. You're looking at a year's worth of gameplay. Plus, I've removed a bunch of ships. I didn't bother bringing everything up. I've got 9s. I've got a lot of 8s, you know, that probably could, you bring up into 9s by throwing a few ascended weapons on there, or maybe even 10s and 11s. So that's something I'll look at later as we get new weapons that are entering the game. And that's something that's really great to think of. Now, a lot of you guys remember when we came in, we didn't have much cheap armor. Now, you can buy some cheap armor blueprints by going to the codex. And you can go to whole armor and pick any kind of armor that you want. So this one here would be a cheap one to make. It's called the Bastion 2. Or you have like the Bastion 3, but you got to get that one from Unita. The La Fortress 3, you can build this one pretty cheap. And you can take it and you can build those and throw them on. It has a gear score of a 243. Instead of having to waste your Royal Custodians, you could be building these and throw it on there. Now, they do have Royal Custodian blueprint now that you could build if you wanted to. Like I say, I've got a ton of those, and they just drop from convoys. I don't build them. There's no need for me to build those. But there's the cheaper options as well. I mean, you're looking at a gear score of 297 versus a gear score of 243. So you're going to get a little bit more out of that Royal Custodian as far as upping your level. But that's going to be totally up to you how you want to do that. But you can use your small ships. I do recommend using a medium ship. The Snow, again, that's going to probably be your best bet. We can bring up and show you what that's going to cost to build one of those real quick. Yeah, so you're looking at 12 juniper planks, zinc ingots, 5 abaca, then 13 ironwood planks, then back to 12 steel ingots, 2 sheet glass, and 2 screw mechanisms. Now, maybe wonder where you get all that stuff. Again, you can use the codex to look at that stuff. But something that's also a way that you can do it is you can look at your forts and see exactly what they have on here. So we've got over here, I believe this one here does screw mechanisms. Yeah, so you could actually come over here and you can pull up next to it and you can buy it, or you can farm it. Or you can buy it and then farm it, and that's going to give you some stuff. Then, of course, you can come over here and you're going to be able to get the sheet glass. But you're also going to find, if you look here, you're going to see there is a trade route between this. This is where the magic happens here. The trade route between these two locations here, you're going to see DMC snows, and you're going to see some ships that have white sails or merchant ships. They're still owned by DMC, but they're merchants. And when you sink those, you're going to be able to get sheet glass and rubber and things like that from those guys as well. And you can check each of these routes and see what they're running on those. So here's plate glass, and just checking these trade routes. And that's where you're going to be able to get shellac, ironwood planks, and just blow these little ships up that are carrying the materials. Or you can zoom in a little bit further in and you can like come around. Seem like the Ramey and stuff like that, it's located, let's see, I believe it was located around this area. So there's ironwood over here. Yeah, there's Ramey up in this area here too. So you're going to be able to farm a lot of this stuff over here as well. So you're going to be able to find a lot of that at your foundry. So you get steel ingots from your foundries. If you watch the past video, your lumber yards, of course, you're going to be able to find the ones that have the ironwood or whatever type of wood it is you're looking for. You're going to be able to find these different types of settlements that have like shellac and abaca and batic and things like that as well. And you can farm those. You can go in and you can plunder it, but you can also buy from it. You can buy from it and then you can plunder it if you want to. So, but you have to wait an hour after you buy it to be able to buy it again. So double whammy it, however you want to do it, guys. Be checking the trade routes between the locations. Remember, you're a pirate. Think like a pirate and you're going to succeed in this game. That's going to be one of the greatest things about this game, is coming up with new ways to get your materials without having to buy it. So that was one of the questions. Says, well, you could just buy it and then farm it. Well, yeah, you can. What I do is I farm it, and then I go and I hunt down the ships that are looking for it, and then I look for the hunter or the gathering ships that are running these little areas and gathering that stuff up. Then I sink them and take their cargo, and then I go ahead and finish gathering up what's on the bank, what's been dropped and stuff. And I don't buy anything. That's why my silver is so high, because I don't spend silver unless I'm buying blueprints and stuff that you have to spend it on. Then yeah, I'll spend silver, but I don't spend it on unnecessary objects. So. But I hope this video has really helped you with that. I apologize for the length of it. There's just no way to make these types of videos in little 10-minute segments, man. There's still a lot more to teach you in future videos. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys, and follow and hit that little notification bell when I post these new videos up. You're going to be able to find them. Y'all have a wonderful evening.